Well, good morning, brothers and sisters. I'm standing here now in this moment in your sanctuary. How I wish I were here with you physically this morning as you're celebrating your 175th anniversary. Wow, what a great privilege. What a great celebration. I have so many memories of being here with you on so many occasions, and even though I cannot physically be present today, it is great to be with the people called Lawrence United Methodist today.
Bert Kite came to LUMC in February 1993, the same month as his 40th birthday. Bert, Debbie, and their 4 children moved here, and they thoroughly enjoyed their 9.5 years as our pastoral family.
Well, good morning, brothers and sisters. It is so good to be with you, and I'm so sorry. As I said earlier, I'm sorry I can't be with you. Over these last several months, you've been enjoying that campaign called Planting a Legacy, and as I saw that wonderful banner that Sue had made in the back of your sanctuary, it reminded me of so many legacies that I was a part of here as your pastor, and now it's a privilege to be your superintendent. But I'm really thinking more today how great it was to be among you. Our family had such a great time here. Our children grew up here. We have so many memories of fondness and kindness that you've extended to us. In fact, just after we moved here, we moved here from Southport, and the folks that bought our home down in Southport called one day and said, "You left stuff in the dishwasher. Do you want it?" And of course I asked Debbie, and she said, "Yes, dear, of course." So Matt and I went down to get it. We went to pick it up, and just before we arrived at our old house, we just pulled into the old neighborhood. We were waiting at a stoplight when Matt looked over and saw the gas station turned candy store. It was really the candy store for him. And I heard this giant sigh, you know, the kind that says so much. And I said, "Matty, what are you thinking about?" And he looks over at the gas station candy store and he said, "This place has got so many memories, I can't remember them all." Well, that's what I think about as I sit in this office that now is Joe's office. I think of all the memories that I have in this place and so many conversations with so many of you, and what a blessed place this has been for us. I think about the first month that I was your pastor, and I got acquainted with a dear saint, 93 years old, named Mary Jenkins. And what a witness of faith and a testament of fidelity she was. And then not long after that, Mary died. And then we soon learned, Jerry Russell and I received word one day that Mary had left the church a legacy of $10,000 to help needy people in this community. And the Good Samaritan Fund was born. And I think of so many great memories like that. Or I think of Byron Groves and Francis Urbane, whose family planted such a great legacy here to make this congregation. Or I think about Mrs. Wardell, the owner of the flower shop, who died not long after I arrived, but for 40 years, she and her family had donated flowers every Sunday to be on the altar. I think about that kind of legacy that they left. Or I think about the day that we were planning and preparing to move out of the what is the old sanctuary into the gathering place, you call it now. And I think about the day we moved all that out, and Ruth and Dan Ruth Krolse Gates was here, and Dan, her husband. And then just the very next morning, we learned that she had slipped away, passed in the night. And I think about the great legacy that she left as our church historian. And I think about that same year, she had come to Bloomington, to Indiana University, at the site of the annual conference, where she was named the annual conference's historian of the year. I think of so many great people and so many great legacies here. I think about the great staff that you have and had. I think about Jim McKinney and Rose Murphy. I think about, of course, Linda, who is still here. And I think about Vicki, who is still here, and Jeannie, and so many others who blessed us. I think about the legacy of starting Winsome Wednesday and now continues. I think of the legacy of Lawrence Summer Kids Club, and now it's Lawrence Summer Kids Camp. I think about the legacy of caring for children that you continue to do through your preschool and daycare. I think about my last day among you as I was standing in what was then a brand new, uncompleted sanctuary. And through the work of the worship babes, Jean and Sue, we were able to worship that day. They and Jerry Russell had made incredible amount of work and gotten it to the point that my last Sunday could be our first Sunday in the new sanctuary. You don't quickly forget things like that. Or I think about that great campaign that Jerry and Dick and Keith administered when we dared to say, yes, we can build a new sanctuary. As I thought about all those things, I thought of the words of my son. I have so many memories, I can't remember them all. And you know, now I have the privilege and responsibility to oversee a lot of churches, and I'm grateful for that responsibility. But what my heart keeps coming back to, and every time I drive by here, I think of the people of Lawrence and what a blessing you are, what a legacy you are. I tell people all the time, you are the most genuine group of Christians that I've known. You genuinely love each other and you genuinely love the community. And you're doing great work. Pastor Joe is doing an incredible job. Did you know that last year you took in more persons on profession of faith than any other church in the district? That is to say, you made 17 new Christians by your action, and maybe that number is even higher. I might be incorrect on that number, but I know that you're doing a great job. And so I want to thank you for what you're doing. I want to thank you for what you've done. I think of the Apostle Paul as he talked about the saints, and as he said in Philippians, I thank my God in all my remembrance of you. And that's what I'm thinking today. Although I am physically far away from you, my heart is near you. I hope you're going to have a great day of celebration. I hope that you'll rejoice in what God has done and also in what God is yet to do through the people called Lawrence United Methodist.